right, guys. Anything else from the quiz? Or from homework stuff? Homework questions? Questions about the election?
Can you go over that chart?
Which chart? Oh, the one at the bottom?
Yeah.
All right, I got a question here real quick. So if I want to go from decimal to percent to fraction, so this is that chart I gave you on the quiz. So let's say I've got a percent is 1.23%. How do I convert that to a decimal? Yeah, the beautiful thing, I do tend to do this, but even if I put these out of order, you still got to know, because you got to do this for yourself. Alphabetical order, so I want to go from percent to decimal, I go that way.
Right.
How many times? Twice.
Right.
So it'll be 0.0123 as a decimal. And what is that going to be as a fraction?
1.123 over 100? No, over...
What place is this in? Tenths, hundredths, thousands, 10,000s.
Yeah, that's what I checked up.
That's just an example. It doesn't mean it was on there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I put one like that on there, but that's how you do that.
No.
I gave you one that was sort of like
29, 25 or something.
Multiply by 4?
Yeah, why would you multiply by 4?
It's 100, the bottom 100.
Makes the bottom 100.
So where'd you get the 10,000 from?
Tenths, hundredths, thousands.
Okay, you
10,000,
by the
yeah.
decimal.
Yeah. And just to remind you guys, I mean, 1.23%. Stay with me now, because there's a whole other way to make this work. But you got to realize the first step ain't good enough. What does percent mean? Per 100. So I can write this as 1.23 over 100. That's a nice middle step, but that ain't the last step, because that is a hybrid, a monster Frankenstein thing. Because it's got decimals inside of fractions. It's no good. So I got to move the top over how many times?
Twice.
So I better move the bottom over.
Twice.
There's the 10,000 again. Holy shit, you can't escape.
Ah, God dang, can I have my test back?
Next time I see you, after today.
And I knew that too.
That you don't have to do this. Please, dear God, don't look at that and say, I don't understand that. Well, great, don't do it that way. That's not the best way to do it. Going here and then there is probably a good way to do it, because it reinforces what the places are for decimals. But that way works too, as long as you remember to move the decimal until you get a nice whole number. And you can't change the top of a fraction without changing the bottom of it. I like it. I don't know. All right, anything else from the... Who did I skip over? Somebody had a question. Yeah. Oh, I was like, what on the quiz? So like, which question are you looking at? Which one, sorry?
135.
135, okay. Oh, okay. So this one, 135, says this. Says A. Odell got a raise from $24.50 to $25.48. And I want to know what the percent increase was. Now, I desperately want this to make sense. I don't like just giving you a formula and say, stuff it in the formula and do it. If I want to know the percent of men in this room, how would I do that? Count the men.
Count the men, number of people.
Divided by the number of people. So that's the basic idea of percent, right? The part, that's men, divided by the whole, that's people. I like it. So to find the percent men, I take the number of men divided by the total. To find the percent blank, I find the blank divided by the total. So in this case, I want to find the percent increase. Well, I got to first find the increase, and then divide by the original. That's the original total. The original was 2450. That's the number that changed, so I'm going to divide it by that. So how much did this increase by?
1.
Yeah, not quite $1, right? 2 cents less than $1? 98 cents. So you just do this minus this, and you can use a calculator on that, that's fine. Yeah, obviously I'll tell you when you can and can't use a calculator. So you get 98, so the increase was 98 cents. So 0.98. Is that cool?
Yep.
Just like finding the number of men, I'm going to count the men. So finding the percent increase, I got to first know the increase. So that's how much it increased by. So to find the percent increase, I take the increase, the change, divided by the original. All right, that you could definitely use a calculator on. So are you going to help me out? No?
0.08. Way out
You're
there.
math teacher.
What's up?
10,000.
It's going to be like 0.04, I think.
6.
4%. Ah, we'll find out.
0.04.
What is it? 0.04? Exactly. 0.04?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Slip.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it is what I do.
Yeah.
It's my one skill. If I lose that,
You get 1.
I get 1.
Hey, Joe.
So what is that as a percentage, though, real quick?
In percentage?
Yep. 4%.
So do we have to add that first zero before the point? Or what did we forget about that?
Remember, I put it there so it's easier for you to see that from your seat.
Right.
Otherwise, from your seat, you might think that's just some
nice
freckle on the board or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's why, in general, we put the O there. Do you have to put it there? Is it wrong if you don't? No. But it's just a courtesy to the person reading your work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to be courteous to me, you can do that.
All right.
I'm trying to be courteous for you guys.
Thank you.
I try. Sometimes. Not too often. I want you to respect me. Now, real quick. So she was making $24.50, right? I can't remember what this was. It was what she was making. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. You know, $24.50 an hour. If I told her, okay, I'm going to give you a 4% pay increase, how would I figure out what her new salary is, what her new wages are? How would I figure that out? I'm going to give her a 4% increase. How would I figure out her new pay? How would I figure it out? What would you don't have to tell me the math. You don't have to take this number times it. What would you do in English? You would take 4% of 24.50 equals, and that'll tell you what? Will that tell you her new pay? Hopefully not. She doesn't want to get paid 4% of what she was getting paid. You would take that amount and you would add it to 24.50. All right, now, I really, stay with me. Some of you guys are looking away. Looking down like, oh, let's match it. No, stay with me. I want to make sure you understand why that's set up the way it is. So somebody help me out. In your calculator, how do I do 4% of 24.50? 4% is 0.04. Of means times. So somebody help me out with a calculator. What's 104 times 24.50?
4 times 99,000. 4 times 98 cents.
Wait, 0.04 times 24.5. Yeah. So 98 cents.
98 cents.
I'm with you. Stay with me. Hey, it's almost a buck increase. Hello. And then to figure out her new salary, her new wages, you would just take this and add it to this. Now, some of you guys realize what I'm trying to do here. So you would take 24.50 plus 0.98, and then you would get 25.48. So when is the first time stay with me. If you were going to get a pay increase, this is the way you would do it, right? They would say, I'm going to increase your pay by 4% because you've been a good worker and so forth. What? Like, all right, great. So this is how they would calculate. When's the first time that number showed up? The very damn end. That was the result of the process, right? This number. So over here, we did everything backwards. What did we do first? We subtracted. What did we do last year? Added. We subtracted to see what that number was, the 0.98, to see how much did it go up by. And then we did 0.98 divided by 2450 because that would give me this number, the number that I must have multiplied by to get there. So that's why the process works. That's why it makes sense. That's why I've got to use this number on the bottom, not this one. Because this is a number that didn't even exist at first. I didn't even know what the hell it was at first going forward. So the formula I gave you last time, this is just a specific instance. Percent change in either direction, up or down, is how much it changed divided by the original. That's how you figure out percent increase, percent decrease, whatever. Because, and really, to tell you honestly, how did we do, in fact, let me give you some lightning round here. Here's some lightning round. You guys get ready. Stop. Okay. I used to watch that show, yes. Strongly. I'll check.
Sorry.
If you need a calculator, there's some up here, so you guys can play along. If you don't want to play along, then why the hell did you come? You just stay home. Just to show your face to me and say, I was your teacher. Right here, right here. Yeah, thank you. Alright, here we go. Let's say now I make $15.80 an hour. They increase my pay by 6%. What's my new wages? Coming here. Take off, man. Turbo boost.
I got 1.64, but I know that's
All right, let's see. What'd you do?
hit the wrong button probably.
Ruh-roh. But tell me what you tried to do. In English, tell me what you did.
Okay, in English, I took the 1580 and I added 0.6.
First mistake. Be careful. 6% would be 0.06.
0.06.
Yeah.
That's right.
So to find how much I'm going to go up by, I take 6% of what? 1580. Now, if I just do this, I as an employee don't appreciate this. I'm getting 6 cents more an hour. That's nice. Thank you so much.
Oh, come on.
Thank you, boss. I can find out the ground.
So I want to take 6% of what I'm making currently. And I like that you built in, you're going to add it to this guy. But I kind of want to focus on this piece for a second. That's going to be how much my pay changes by.
94 cents.
Yeah.
And what do you get when you multiply that?
Like that.
94 cents.
0.8?
94.
8? Let's make it 95. We'll be nice. We'll be nice. We'll round up. Although the bank and your employer probably will round down. So that 95 cents represents the change. And then I'm going to add it to 1580. So how much am I making now?
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
All right. How we doing? Are we all right? We all right? We're not breaking any brand new ground here. right, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to have you guys do one more because I'm lazy. Let's say you're now making $21.40 an hour. And your boss says, "Holy crap, let me cut your pay by 25%.
Boss.
And he says, "All right, take it or quit. Good luck." So, good. It's a good thing I teach and I own a small business. Pay. I doubt I'd be that way, but you never know. Power goes to my head. What's your new wages now, guys?
$16.05.
All right, let everybody catch up.
Where you at?
That was to spur them to do something. Was it good? So let me focus on this. How much will it change by? How do you figure out how much it's going to change by? You take what?
When you subtract,
You will subtract eventually. But just the change by itself, just the change. How much will it change by? You would take what of what? 25%
from the 2140.
of 2140. So that would be 0.25 times 2140. And you get 5 point who? 35. So that's how much is going to change by. How much you're making now is 2140, so then you would subtract 535. So you end up at 1605. That's a big old cut. Now, what I want to focus on, just to make you guys realize what's happening. This is the change part here, right? This is the change. This is how much it changed by. How did I figure out? So that's the change equals the percentage times the original. Right? In fact, let me be more specific. It equals the percent change times the original. Stay with me. So if I didn't know what the percent change was, but I knew how much it changed by, how would I figure out what that was? I would divide by the original. I really want that to make sense. Let me write it again by itself up here. We got this part here. So the change equals the percent change times the original, right? That's what we keep doing. Here we did 6% of 1580. 0.06 times 1580. Here we did 25% of 2140. 25% times 2140, right? So then if I didn't know what this was, how would I solve for it? I would divide by the original, wouldn't I? I really want that to make sense. I know now I've got words inside of an equation. I don't give a shit. What's this operation right there? Multiplication. So how do I solve for this one? I divide by that one.
You divide the change by the multiple.
I divide this side by original. I like it. So that's why the formula for percent change is the change divided by the original. Always.
And then to get the answer, you would times it again.
And then you can make it into a percentage at the end. I like it. So, let's try this. Our shirt is discounted by from $18 to $14.29. What is the percent decrease? Or percent change. I feel like that would decrease is just a specific kind of change, right? It's just a change. probably going to have to round this answer. I don't know how it's going to come out. More than 20%. Okay, so how much did it change by? So it's going to be change. Can you spell, Jack? Yeah. Divided by original. So what? How much did it change by? $3.71. And how much was it originally? 18. It's a little more than 0.2. I think. Is it? 0.206? And which is, what is a percentage? Yeah. 20.6%.
Yeah, I have a question. Why did we divide instead?
Why did we divide? How do you mean?
Why did we divide? Why didn't we multiply?
Did we know the percentage to multiply by?
Nope.
So if I know the percentage, I multiply to get how much it changes. If I don't know the percentage, I do the opposite. I divide to see what the percentage must have been. I'm just doing the reverse of what I would normally do.
We divided that 18 into
Yeah, the original amount.
the original amount.
And I wanted to see how much a part of this was of this.
Where did 371 come from?
That's the change. So that's the change is $18 minus $14.29. That's how much it changed by, right?
Oh yeah, the minus part. I forgot about that.
That's all. Yes, ma'am.
Why did it only go over 2 decimal points?
Because it only ever does. It's percent means per 100. 2 zeros, 2 decimal places. So I know that this is 206 out of 1,000, right? Math doesn't give a crap. 0.20 is 20%, so 0.206 is a little more than 20%. 20.6%. I like it. Let me show you a couple of little side notes about percentages. I don't know what else to call this. Woo! Who remembers what I said the other day about taking 10% of something? 10% of 30 would be, do it very quickly. No calculator. What does 10% do to something? Cuts it by how much? So what is 10% as a fraction? 10 of 100, right? That reduces to 1/10. So it's 1/10 of something. When you divide by 10, you move the decimal place back once. Really? All right, maybe I should do this instead. All right. Before we do that, you have desperately got to be able to do this. I still see too many people doing work for this. I don't want to see any. I know it says show your work, but for this kind of problem, I don't want to see a damn bit of work. What kind of problem, Jeff? This kind. 10% of 2.98. What you got, Jeff? I'm going to do 1% of 1480.7. All right. So 100% of something, actually here, 0. 100% of, I don't care, of 14.92 would be what? 14.9, let's start there. 100% of something, that thing. 10% is 1/10 of that. It's cutting that thing into 10 parts. And why should it be easy to divide by 10? Because our number system is based on 10. So all it does is it makes all the numbers go 1 decimal place lower. 2 is now 2/10. 9/10 is now 9/100 because it divides by 10. So everything just moves over it. So I just move the decimal back once. So 10% of 298 is 0.298. So if you went somewhere and you paid $2.98 at some restaurant for some amazing meal, $2.98, and the service was okay but not great, you might give them a 30-cent tip. because that would be a 10% tip.
And you do the decimal once.
Beautiful.
Okay.
So anything I do for 1%, I move it.
One.
100% keeps it the same.
Wait.
10% is 1/10 of that. It moves it back once. Sorry, go ahead.
100% you move it twice.
No. 100% of something is that whole thing,
Yeah, don't change.
right? If I found $14.92 and I said I'm going to give 100% of this to you, you're going to get the whole damn thing. If I give you any less than that, then I'm lying to you. You got to slap me in the face and wait a minute. But if I say I'm going to give you 10% of $2.98, you're going to end up with like 30 cents. Right? 10% is going to cut it down by 1/10 because 10% is 1/10. What's 1% going to do? Move it back twice. Because what's 1%? 1 over 100. So if I divide by 100, I'm going to move it back twice. So what's 1% of 1480.7? 14.807.
I just don't understand the 10%.
What about it?
10% is over 100, you said?
Yeah, it's 10 over 100, which reduces to what? 1/10. So divided by 10 just moves it back once. I like it.
So anytime you got 1%, it's like 1 over 100, period.
Yeah, exactly.
How about 2%?
All right. I like that you said that. You're reading my mind. Get out of my mind.
All right, so one question.
Yes,
So
sir.
what are we paying? If we get 10% off of $2.98, what are we paying?
All right. So this is a whole problem. If it was 10% discount off of something that's $2.98, then they're going to take about 30 cents off. I'm going to pay $2.68.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay.
That's the amount it's going to change by. So then I change this by that. If it's a decrease, I subtract. If it's an increase, I add.
Okay.
I like it. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so on the 10% we move back 1 because there's 1 0, and on the 1% we move back twice because there's 2 zeros?
Yes.
Okay.
So even more to the point here, 3879.52 divided by 1,000. You should not have to do any work here. How many zeros are in the bottom?
3.
So when I divide, do I get bigger or smaller? So I'm going to move the decimal 3 places that way. This is exactly why we do percentages the way we do. It's just always out of 100. So how many times do we always move the decimal place? Twice for percentages. But I can make it in general. If it's 1,000, I'm going to move it 3 times. If I'm dividing, I'm going to move it back because it makes it smaller. That makes sense. If I'm multiplying, if I had 1.498 times 1,000, I'm still going to move it how many times?
3.
Because there's 3 zeros, but now I'm going to move it because it's going to get bigger.
Because you're times and you're going
I'm multiplying, so now I should make this bigger. 1498.
So if you subtract it and divide,
Yeah, if I'm dividing, then that decimal's got to go back.
right.
How many times? The number of zeros I see.
Zeros you got. If you're multiplying, it's going.
It's going to go that way.
Okay.
Number of zeros I see.
Now then, if you're subtracting, what does it do?
Oh, no. Okay. Subtracting, you just line the decimal up and subtract.
Stay the same.
Because subtraction